put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers. It is Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. Welcome. You are viewing us live here in Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. To our viewers on Facebook, YouTube, and 102 on AMPLIA, I'm happy to be here with you this morning. Thank you for being here with me. It's a new day. It's bright. It's early. The weather is not that rainy as it was last night. We have a lot of thanks and praise to give to God for this new day. But before we go on, let's have our news in 90 seconds. Here is your news in 90 seconds, Wednesday, 4th June 2025. Alleging serious irregularities in the TRHA's $17 million ambulance deal, THA Minority Leader Kelvon Morris is demanding a criminal investigation into what he describes as the Assembly's worst procurement scandal. He claims the situation represents an unprecedented betrayal of public trust in the THA's history. Morris said the cost ballooned from $5.5 million, with only 4 of 12 ambulances delivered, some faulty and not matching specifications. He also demanded the resignation of Health Secretary Dr. Faith Brebner for alleged oversight failures. Calls for probes by the Integrity Commission and Fraud Squad are mounting amid unanswered questions from THA officials. Acting Commissioner of Police Junior Benjamin has promised strict maintenance protocols for 67 new RAV4 vehicles acquired by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service at a cost of nearly $23 million. Speaking at a handover ceremony, Benjamin outlined plans for vehicle tracking, regular servicing, and collaboration with the Finance Department to avoid past neglect. The new fleet, 52 marked and 15 unmarked vehicles, will boost police presence and emergency response nationwide, including Tobago. Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander urged immediate deployment, stressing the public's demand for visible, effective law enforcement across the country. Opposition leader Penelope Beckles-Robinson has urged the government to proceed cautiously with its proposed Stand Your Ground law. She warned that similar legislation in Florida resulted in a rise in homicides, especially among young adults. Speaking at her first press conference, Beckles-Robinson and other MPs called for public consultation and questioned the law's applicability in public spaces. The opposition also defended 2 previous PNM initiatives, the demerit point system and virtual courts in police stations, criticizing government plans to scrap them without viable alternatives, arguing both measures had improved public safety and efficiency. And that was your news in 90 seconds. We're going straight over into our birthday segment for this morning. I know you are excited. I am excited to see who's on for our birthdays this morning. First up, we have Dervin Roberts. A happy birthday to you, a special happy birthday to you. And I really do hope that you enjoy it, coming all the way from our Youth Wednesday Tobago Update family. Next up, we have Sherry Thomas. Happy birthday to you, and I really hope that you enjoy the entirety of your day. Liana Spencer, a happy birthday to you. Happy birthday from us here at Tobago Updates. Marissa Solomon is up next. Yes, Marissa, happy birthday to you. Always has a unique smile, a unique vibe. A happy birthday to you, Marissa. Next up, Wesley Beard. Happy birthday to you, coming from your family, your friends, and Tobago Updates. Ryan Thomas, looking serious, I see, but I hope a smile goes on your face today. I hope that you enjoy the entirety of your birthday, coming from the Tobago Updates family. And And last but not least, I think Dwayne could join me in this one. Dwayne, who is on the screen there?
Good morning and welcome. Ooh, wow, it bursting with excitement.
Yes,
Good
you
morning
are.
and welcome, everyone. A happy birthday goes out to the renowned, the infamous,
The one and only.
the rolling giant here in Tobago Updates.
Yes.
No pun intended. Right, Mr. William Nana. He has been the backbone of this thing. He has been the driving force of this thing. He's the reason why we are all here.
Yes,
and
indeed.
I think it would be remiss of us if we don't wish him a happy birthday, give him all the confettis, give him all the congratulations, continue doing the great work that you're doing and, changing the media industry right here in Tobago.
Yes,
Revolutionizing the media industry right here in Tobago. A happy birthday goes out to you.
And
From
as the
us,
young people say, big up you, Nana.
big up yourself, big up yourself, big up your whole self, Nana.
All right.
Good morning and welcome, guys. It's a pleasure, always a pleasure to be here. The week has been quite arduous. One thing to the next. Last night I got home like about minutes to 12, after 12, because working and on my way home I received the most painful news that somebody from Palliative who we work very closely with had just passed away. So condolences to the Boris family of Palliative. And the north side, Mr. Nathaniel Boris passed away, and special, comfort and condolences goes out to his wife and his daughter, Mrs. Indra Chance Boris. Condolences to you. We are here to support. You have my number. You could call me anytime. Right. So I just I think I needed to do that.
Yes.
So we're going to go over to our rundown this morning. We have but a very compact but fun-filled rundown for you this morning. First, we have Miss Hesma Warner, Thomas. She will be talking to us about appreciating art and all the intricacies surrounding art this morning. She's a freelance artist, and I'm sure that it would open our palette more to what art has to offer.
And I've seen some of her pieces. They're actually really good.
Yeah.
So I want to hear what she has to, say to us here, especially about art itself, how it is living as a freelance artist, how are things like that, So we could get to hear that this morning from Hesma Warner Thomas.
Certainly.
Here on Tobago.
And next we have the renowned Mr. Darren Sandy, spoken word artist. I saw certain many of you would have seen the poetry slam that took place a couple of weeks ago in Trinidad. Spoken word has been a long hobby of mine. I've never done a spoken word, but in the heydays of 2 Cents movement with Crystal Skeet and Cleon McPherson and so on. So and even Darren Sandy and among others. There was one guy that passed away, a Rasta guy, I forget his name, some years ago. I think he passed away.
I know you're speaking about.
Tall, dark fella.
I don't know.
Really good spoken word is.
But we get to hear from Darren.
Yes.
Darren, I could safely say that Darren introduced spoken word in a large way to both
in a more
islands.
Creative way,
Yes. As you said, you mentioned the 2 Cents movement, and Darren is still going with spoken word.
Yes.
Spoken word is, it's a favorite of a lot of people to listen to. But I've heard about this event. I actually have tickets. I am going. I'll see you there.
You have tickets?
Of course I do.
So how you get tickets?
How you ain't get tickets?
No, because nobody doesn't think about me.
No problem. When you were picking your Shaddock and Cebu Suite, you should have thought about
that was
me.
months ago.
Right, and now we're in this month, and
Thank
I have
you
tickets.
I'm concreting my point.
Well, you could ask Darren how you could purchase tickets or obtain some tickets for that show on Sunday. Borderline is the name of the show,
of course.
And we get to hear from two renowned spoken word artists, including Darren himself. at Barcode.
I hope I'm able to make it because I have to host a event on Sunday. I just hope
Dwayne,
I'm able to make it.
You have to make time for this event.
Yes.
I admonish you to do so because, I mean, how often do you hear from Darren?
Yeah, I love Miss. It's been years.
Exactly.
At Barcode.
Yeah.
Poker Slit Fest.
He's going right back to Barcode.
You ever saw the poetry slam between Clean McPherson and this fella Skito?
No.
Yeah, I just sent the video.
Well, I'm guessing that I'll be able to.
You know, come true. Yeah,
I know about 2 Cents movement. I don't think I know come true. I just think you know a lot more than me. You were in that sphere. Maybe it was something you should have gotten into. Yeah.
It's really cool. Really
and then
cool.
we have, the normal Dwayne and Natalia chats at the end of the show. We are always happy to have that little chat session with you.
Yeah, we had to talk about cartel.
Yeah, we do. We do. There are a lot of views on that, and I think that's a good conversation to have there doing.
Yes.
The viewers, I think, would look forward to that one.
Yeah.
Right. So before we go, we just want to ask them to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies, where innovation meets excellence and service reigns supreme.
Well, I want a proper window for me house, yeah? I want no shake thing in my place.
Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces.
We get one wall on the side and we get one hole. You can put a window there, invent something, a window for put there.
At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style.
Well, me meet ya. Me don't know who I'm talking to, but I have the cousin Tufina tell me for call all you go get proper thing for put there. Me don't know.
Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business.
Driven? No, I ain't driving. I get a bus ticket. One of me pick me them go drop me down there. Must bring me down there. Russo Trace Springer down by the place down there.
Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products, it's about relationships. It's about you.
It's all about me? Who's your family? You know Edna and Dorka and them, you know them, but you resemble them Edward boy and them Edward people them you.
Tobago Glass Supplies, Russo Trace Spring Garden, telephone number 639-6266. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
How it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause 'cause this is your show.
Do you think you know Premier League or Champions League football? What about international cricket or the IPL and CPL? How about NBA basketball? Well, now you can put your skills to work to earn some extra cash by betting on the games with TT Bet Arena. Simply go to our website, choose a sport you want to bet on, find the games, and place your bets. And with your computer or mobile device, you can bet from anywhere. Just go to ttbetarena.com, sign up for a free account, make a deposit, and start betting. It's that simple. You can even qualify for our $2,000 sign-up bonus. We also have horse racing, plus live casino games where you can bet using TT dollars. And check our new Tobago location at 7B Milford Road, Crown Point. For more info, call or WhatsApp 494-0634. TT Bet Arena, the #1 sports betting company in Trinidad and Tobago.
Hair goals, we've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy for queens who know exactly what they want.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. As promised, we have a lively interview session for you this morning. We start off with Hesma Warner-Thomas. She is a freelance artist and she's here to speak to us about her work and appreciating art on a whole. She's also going to dive into some questions, like a lot of questions that the public normally has towards artists, and she will be able to answer them this morning. But first off, I just want to ask Hesma, who is Hesma?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Hesma.
And once again, my name is Hesma Warner-Thomas, and I have quite a journey in this life to bring me to this point. I work CPEP on a morning. I'm a checker there. Right. I've done grocery work. Meaning when I say grocery work, I've cashed, I've worked in the back, I've worked on the lanes, and so on and so forth. I went to Mobile, I went to secondary school. That's where my art journey began.
Okay.
I always loved drawing, loved painting. And as time, life takes different challenges, takes a different route. And for my whole life, I just adapted to whatever comes my way. I've studied law. I was at diploma level. But when we were to go to the bachelor's, the school no longer offered that option.
Okay.
So I had a choice to make. And I decided to go the personal route, right? But other than that, art was always my passion, always underneath everything. So from time to time, I will dive into my work. But I must say, being an artist is one of the most rewarding things you could do in life. There are various types of artists, right? My work is more freelance, meaning that I paint from my heart.
Okay.
I just put paint on the canvas and create. Sometimes some of my creation, like the one on the screen, that one came from Speyside.
Okay.
That was my inspiration from space and the jetty.
Okay.
So I just painted. It's a long time I've been there. This one I just decided I'm working with these colors, the green, the black, and so on and so forth, and I just create it. I do not sketch anything. Everything is brush.
All right.
Right? This one, I was just thinking of flying over the ocean, and I just created this one. How would the sea look hitting on rocks, from the sky? So this was purely imaginative. And this one is where we work, down at Buku. Always watching the sea, always watching the jetty, and, that extension come out there. And I decided to put it on a canvas.
So you're saying that most of your inspiration really comes from being outdoors, where you work, where you visit. You said you started at Lavantil High School.
Yes.
Right, and that really pushed you into the art world.
Right.
And then you're saying that life tossed you into certain circumstances and you chose the personal way out.
Right.
Aside from life and what it did or whatever happened, what was your inspiration really to put brush to canvas and decide to start?
Well, it was more like an overwhelming desire.
Okay.
It's something deep within me to, I don't know, just when I start to paint, I just forget everything dissolves. Because when you paint a painting, well, I can speak for me, I'm not sure if it's the same with other artists, but when you sit in front of a canvas, there is no limit. There is no restrictions, yes. You just paint from your heart. Whatever comes to you, whatever inspires you. Sometimes you might curve your brush a certain way, and you just like how it flows, and you just continue from there. So it comes from inside. And, sometimes when you're going through certain stuff too, sometimes and you put it on the canvas. There's something captured that could never be done again. Because that's the next thing with my pieces. Every piece is never replicated.
Okay.
Once you have one, well, this one was always in my mind. And I just decided to paint it. And I was excited with it, how it came out. But
this actually looks really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is also at Buku?
No, that's just from my mind.
Okay.
I thought this was healing with horses,
They actually helped me in the sense of bringing me to this point. I went to them with some of my work, and they asked me why I now coming with this, why I didn't tell them about it for a while. And I let them know I have been painting for years. It's just that I had them in a barrel at home. And I always thought I wasn't good enough to bring it out. And they were like, no, you don't ever say that about yourself. So they are part of the reason why when I started back, I started with a vengeance, And they introduced me to Miss Barb at Things Natural in Crown Point. And there's where you would find my work displayed and sold. And there are other wonderful artists there as well. So, I find when people look at your paintings, someone will tell you, well, why I didn't put this or why I didn't put that. Painting is not about why you didn't put anything. It's about a connection.
Yeah.
It's how you see the world and how you want to put it on a canvas. It doesn't matter if it looks like what it's supposed to look like or it doesn't, because it comes from inside. And sometimes the image that you may have in your mind, somebody else mightn't see that way, but it would speak to somebody else.
Yeah.
So art speaks to everybody in its own language. So when you look at a piece of work that somebody has spent how many time doing, it's not about what they didn't do. Appreciate what you see, because that is part of that person.
Okay.
All right. So, how do you handle the overwhelming creativity in your mind? I mean, certainly not everything that comes to mind, you put brush to canvas.
Exactly.
How do you tailor your pieces, and do you just do this as a leisure activity or just as a hobby, or this is something that you live by?
This is like a hobby,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also done in my leisure time.
Okay.
However, that may be permitted sometimes. But I would say it's more something personal.
Okay.
Because for me, when I look around, you see people live and they die, right? We know that's a part of life. But one of the things that I always ask myself is, what am I leaving behind? What is my legacy? When I am gone, what would I be remembered for? And this is one of the things that I want to leave behind. It's like a footprint that I was here. And it's something that cannot be erased.
Right.
It is something that once you have a piece of it, you have a piece of me forever. It's something that my children could pass on to my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. Doesn't, I don't know how far down it could go. Right. It's like Picasso. When Picasso started his line drawings, they didn't appreciate it. They find it was weird. And now for you to own one of Picasso paintings, you have to be a multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
So it's really deep for me.
So as we're on the topic of Picasso became a multi-millionaire and his pieces are still being sold for a lot of money. Is it your intention to get into the business, to make this your business and your livelihood? And what are some of the moves you're making toward that thrust?
Well, that is the ultimate goal. So, being one of my footsteps in that direction.
Okay.
I hope one day to have an exhibition. And hopefully another day to have my own studio where I could put on shows, not just for myself, but for upcoming artists. Because there's a lot of artists that are very young and they have the talent, but they don't know how to channel it or where to go or how to start. Because I struggled for a long time trying to access, how do I get out there? How do people see my work? How do I get better than I am? Because with art, there's always room for growth.
Right.
Every time you paint a painting is a step further into the direction of perfection, but we are never perfect, And when I look at life and the opportunities, I don't want to waste a second of it. Because as I just tell my kids all the time, and my family, we don't know how long we have here, right? You hear people asking for long life or what you're really doing with that life. So for me, I want this to be my legacy. So hopefully one day it could even reach places that I never went. Maybe Ghana, Africa,
So Dwayne spoke to where you want to be in the future, future Picasso, right? But at present, what is it like in terms of your support, in terms of your income for your art?
Right. Well, in terms of my income, as I said, I have put paintings, at Things Natural, Ground Point to be sold. I also advertise on my personal page. I have to set up a page just for my work, right? So that I'm in the process of doing that. I also want to make sure that I have work to submit. I don't want to just say I'm going to do and just not do the work behind it. So I'm in the process of making sure that I have the painting. So whenever that happens, I can really launch myself, right? Also, I'm planning to see if I can locate a place as soon as possible. I don't know how soon in the future, to have an exhibition, as I mentioned before, not just with myself, with at least 3 other artists of my caliber, where we could showcase our work. We are new to the market, so we want to put ourselves out there, show what we can do, right, and add to the beautification of Tobago and the tourism, because, right now, I think the tourism is really struggling if you really look at what's happening in Tobago, and we have a lot here to offer. Right?
All right. So in terms of if I ask you, let me be bold. I wanted to put it in nice words, but I'll just be bold with it. If I ask you to paint a picture for me, like a personal picture for me, how do I go about doing that? What is your contact information? How do I explain to you what I'd like to see on the canvas? And do you actually do things like that for people?
Well, that is something I have been looking at because I've been asked. I've never done it before, but I always like a challenge. So I'm up for it. And you can contact me by my cell phone, 495-4581. and we can see how best we can work together.
Because I'm seeing that you're really good at capturing a specific moment, I would say.
Right.
You know, a friend of mine is getting married.
Nice.
I know people do I know people do this thing where the artist comes and they look at the one special scene in the wedding and they would paint that.
A friend of
you
yours
know.
is getting married.
Yes,
Oh,
Dwayne.
okay.
Yes,
Okay.
Dwayne. A lot of people getting married in this season, you know. Yeah, so that's what I'm asking, you know. Do you do that kind of work? I know a lot of artists are branching into that aspect. So would you
Yes.
see yourself doing things like that in
No
the future?
problem, I will do it. And I will work with the person to select the correct picture because we want the proper lighting
Right.
and all those things. All those things tell how your painting will come out. You know, a lot of times we take pictures and we don't study the lighting.
Right.
You know, the eyes. If you could capture the eyes on a canvas, you will lose yourself in there. So everything else wouldn't really matter. There must be a strong point in your canvas, you know. So, yeah.
My question to you is, what's some of the challenges you face in ensuring, well, when you do your paintings or in this journey as being a freelance artist, how do you maneuver those challenges?
Oh, well, I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of affirmations. And I will myself to success.
Right. And what are some of those challenges that you put those things toward in ensuring that you overcome and you persevere?
One of the biggest challenge I would say is getting your work recognized, getting a painting sold, because paintings aren't food. And with the economy we have now, a lot of people is under a lot of strain.
Right.
So you have to be patient, you know. And then, as I said before, people have a tendency to look at a painting and it speaks to them and they will purchase it. The only how this happens is once your paintings are being seen, it's out there, right? So for me, it's a patience game. You know, it's also about making sure that your work is there. It's also about having the courage to continue painting, even though you may not have the funds for the other paintings, but that's okay. You know, you work around it, you find ways of continuing. I spoke to Mr. Leroy Clark. I'm sure those of the art will remember him. He used to do abstract painting.
He passed away.
Yeah, he
was
passed
really,
away,
really
unfortunately.
Real strong Rockefeller.
Right. I had a conversation with him at one time when I was young going to school. And he told me, you know, in this field, we don't really get much recognition as a beginner. But you must persevere. The greatest ones, he said, persevere. They worked. They put in the work. And so once you're willing to put in the work and do the sacrifices, you will make it.
So, in addition to what Mr. Leroy would have told you in his time being here, what advice do you have to young artists coming up, getting into this field specifically?
Love what you do. Once you love what you do, there's no stopping you. Take courage. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? And once you persevere, you will make it. Do the work. Because what you think is your greatest piece, you ain't even touch the surface as yet. And keep thinking every piece is a masterpiece.
Right.
And you will get there.
That's good advice. Doing if you want to start painting, there's your advice there.
I think I'm very much too late.
No, it's never too late. It's never too late. It's never ever too late.
I agree with you, but certainly it is for me. But you know, my last question to you is, what is next for you? You know, you're here, you're developing your product. What is next for you? What can we see in the coming months, in the coming year? You know, coming from you as a freelance artist as you develop this craft.
As I said, I hope to put on an exhibition soon. And in that exhibition, I would display the work that I've done so far and hopefully more work, right? I'm looking at more of our Tobago lovely beaches. And as you said, I could probably do some with, you know, weddings and different stuff with people. Although with people, it's challenging because everybody's face is unique and everybody has their own
It's
beauty.
not a focus on the two faces for the body.
Yes,
To get
yes.
other people.
Yes, you know, so everybody's face is very unique and it may not always come out exactly like the person, but you want to capture the spirit of that person. And that is what I hope to transfer in my paintings in the coming future.
Okay. All right. So, Hesma, I want to thank you so much for being with us here this morning, telling
Thank
us
you.
about your work, telling us about who Hesma is, what we can expect from Hesma in the future. I mean, we've seen her pieces, so she has offered to do those freelance photos for you, whether it be wedding, any type of celebration that you may have upcoming. Hesma is here to be at your needs in terms of paintings. All right, so from us here at Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates, I just want to tell you thank you for being with us here this morning.
It was my pleasure.
Yes. All right. So viewers, we're on to our next interview, but before we get to that, Dwayne, what do they do? Share the life, share the life, share the life. We'll be right back.
Saving up to go. Anything we not backing down, like a bomb we ready to explode. Ain't gonna wait until my back against the wall. Ain't gonna.
Do you think you know Premier League or Champions League football? What about international cricket or the IPL and CPL? How about NBA basketball? Well, now you can put your skills to work to earn some extra cash by betting on the games with TT Bet Arena. Simply go to our website, choose a sport you want to bet on, find the games and place your bets. And with your computer or mobile device, you can bet from anywhere. Just go to ttbetarena.com, sign up for a free account, make a deposit, and start betting. It's that simple. You can even qualify for our $2,000 sign-up bonus. We also have horse racing, plus live casino games where you can bet using TT dollars. And check our new Tobago location at 7B Milford Road, Crown Point. For more info, call or WhatsApp 494-0634. TT Bet Arena, the #1 sports betting company in Trinidad and Tobago.
With Flow Business's new smart solutions, powered by super fast, reliable broadband, you'll feel like there are more versions of you working for you. From website design, development, and digital marketing to promote your business, 24/7 business class support to cloud solutions, security, and more. Multiply your growth today.
Tobago, this is your chance to lock in the brunch experience of the summer. Sun up.
Real bad girl, get nasty.
The brunch inclusive edition, the ultimate party in the East, where vibrant flavors, refreshing cocktails, and electrifying vibes collide. It's happening on Saturday, July 5th from 3 p.m. at Deltec Compound, Argyle. Bring your coolers, bring your crew, and brunch, sip, and vibe in style. This is the flavorful escape you've been waiting for. Grab your tickets now at Barcode, Harblow Supermarket, Lost Restaurant and Lounge, Deltec Compound, and committee members. Sun up. It's more than a brunch. It's an experience.
Quartz is well known as the Caribbean's largest retailer, providing consumers for generations with the very best products to enhance their homes. This year, we bring our expertise to businesses. Quartz Business Solutions will serve small, medium, and large companies with the very best products at the most competitive prices, backed by warranties and after-sales support. Hoteliers, office managers, restaurants, and so many more. Quartz Business Solutions, a brand of the Unicomer Group.
a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam. You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Springs. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning.
Tobago, looking for an evening of fun? Good. Well, I'd like to introduce you to Borderlines, a poetry showcase. Wait, Dogo. Now you may be wondering, what is Borderlines and why is this poetry thing?
Because Sona sensed that somewhere asunder, I would have just pondered the deepest quadruple entendre. Meanwhile, somewhere on the surface, is the poem Sandy right for slam and come firstly.
Amazing. The singing, the dancing, the drama, it was comedic.
Inspirational, fantastic.
Great poetry. Not just about what they say, but the meaning behind it.
You know, it's not just a show for entertainment.
Actually look forward to coming back.
Well, by now, I hope you're feeling good, because you realize it's not just poetry, it's an entire entertainment experience. Top-notch veteran poets Darren Sandy and Idris Salim will be featuring at Barcode Scarborough on the 8th of June. Doors open from 6 p.m. The showing starting too long after that. Special guest artist, Tobago's own spoken word maestro, Cleon McPherson in person. Free non-alcoholic drink on entry. Yes, it's Father's Day season, but this one is for the whole family. Tickets are just $200 for all of this vibes. Available at Barcode or online at caritickets.com. That's CARI tickets.com, or call 481-1514 to book your spots now. Borderlines Father's Day Roadshow in Tobago. Lyrics for soul.
Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. You're viewing us here live in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago. I'm excited for this next guests. These next guests, I should say, Darren Sandy and Idris Salim, who are spoken word artists, renowned spoken word artists in Trinidad and Tobago, and they're coming to talk to us about the upcoming event on Sunday, deemed, what is the theme?
Borderlines, Father's Day road trip.
Borderline.
Wow. Ooh. I think you should perform.
No, I know.
Darren, Idris, are you hearing him?
Well, who should have performed was Cartel. Cartel should have performed. But
we're not getting into that Cartel talk right now. We're here to speak about Darren and Idris performing at Borderlines Father's Day road trip at Barcode.
Yeah.
You know, before we...
hold on. I need to ask you first question. You pat down. Good morning and welcome, gentlemen. Right, I have been fan of this thing for years now, and I must say thank you for bringing this back to Tobago. It's been a long time coming. I've been begging for this. But to you, Mr. Idris, how you could how you could in the promotional video in your spoken word tell the people and them you have to ponder why Darren Sandy spoken word win.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we have a rich history of this grandiose, muchísimo kind of culture when it comes to auditory arts and things. So that's all part of the good fun that they expect to come on to receive in the Borderline show and things. And they're on his work too. Don't feel they're on his work. He come back and miss it.
I know it'll be fire for fire, man.
Fire for fire, same way.
Yeah, but I just wonder for the viewers who don't know, tell us about your journey, Mr. Sandy. Being a spoken word artist, where it all began for you, etc., etc.
I'm interested in hearing the answer to this. I remember Darren as a high school student when he visited the high school during the 2 cents movement. Everybody was so excited about this thing. Darren, I'm listening, Darren.
It started for me at the University of the West Indies. There was a lively open mic there called You We Speak, where a lot of the spoken word artists that exist now would have come up through. And one day I was just walking home from basketball training. I heard this song and I was attracted to the song. I guess like many other people, I was like, this song's like something I could do. And I went forward. I asked the curator of the event at that time, Amilcar Sanatan, how to perform. And I signed up for the next event. I don't think I went on immediately because it was full. So I went on to the next one, but it gave me some time to sort of look at spoken word, the little clips on YouTube. Back then, videos were grainy. You couldn't see the video properly. We're fighting to see it. And I ended up writing a parody to one of the most famous pieces at the time, which would have been a piece from Muhammad Muakil called Last Midnight Robber. And I wrote a piece called The Last Midnight Robber Killer, against the wishes of two of my friends, but I still did it anyway. And the rest is history after that, really.
Yeah. So it really goes to show that, you have to listen to your intuition and your this spirit leading your man. But Mr. Idris, where did it also begin at You Speak for you as well? I know you are also a renowned spoken word artist. I've always listened to your pieces as well, and just very creative. You two mashing up the place, man.
Good vibes. Yeah, it would have been around that time in that era. I have a background also in theater arts, so I was part of a drama club in St. Augustine Secondary School, and my director realized that I liked writing and started to push me in that direction, where I would open up for our plays with some poetry. I didn't know it was spoken word poetry at the point in time. I just knew I was expressing myself. And soon after that, a guy by the name of Muhammad Muakil from Freetown Collective, he would have seen some of my stuff, and he kind of encouraged me to start to do poetry at the same You Will Speak open mic, because he would have been one of the founders of the open mic, and kind of like that was kind of like where it started for me.
All right. But congratulations to you, Mr. Sandy. I really forgot to give you the congratulations. But given that you won the last poetry slam, I believe, what piece did you perform and what inspired the piece?
I wish I won the last poetry slam, but I came second. I came second.
Please.
Yeah, when I was a new poet called Shaquille Warren. And the piece I would have done, this was 1 month ago. It was May the 4th, actually, exactly 1 month from today.
Yeah.
And the piece I would have done would have been a piece called Monsters, which kind of looked at the political situation in Trinidad and Tobago. Of course, a month ago we'd have been at just ending the election season. So it was based on that and really looking at how somebody could start off with very noble intentions, but when they get caught up in the political climate and the mudslinging and the race baiting, etc., they more or less turn into a monster. And most times that is fueled by we the people buying into that kind of thing and really supporting it and getting behind it, and we turning into monsters ourselves,
Right.
All right. So I know Dwayne is a bit excited, and to be quite honest, those starting questions, I think those are personal questions. Dwayne being probably your number one biggest fan, yeah. But I know we have this big event coming up. That's Borderlines Father's Day road trip, and I know you are excited. I am excited because I already have my tickets to this event. Dwayne needs to keep up as your number one fan, right? But what do we expect to see at Borderlines Father's Day road trip event at Barcode in Scarborough?
Well, Borderlines.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Borderlines is essentially, I mean, the product was important for us as spoken word artists going into the thing full time because we really want to make it as sustainable as possible. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the event itself is designed to really push spoken word poetry to what we consider to be new heights, places where you wouldn't really see it explored in a regular open mic. On the slam stage, we really mix the different elements with it, whether it's theater, whether it's music, whether it's interesting storytelling, whether it's a certain performance concept. So you're not going to feel like you're in a poetry show. That is the first thing. You're not going to feel like you're in a poetry show.
We ain't snapping fingers and them kind of thing, you know. We clapping and them
you might jump up in the air and do so, bow, 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 or some kind of thing.
Shots fired.
Yeah, it's a really different kind of energy. You know, sometimes people hear poetry and they say, okay, let me come out with my tea and that kind of thing. And while there's room for the tea sippers to enjoy it as well, it's really an experience that draws in even non-poetry lovers, because that's what we try to do. We try to show people that spoken word poetry, especially as it is portrayed in Trinidad and Tobago, has potential to appeal. It's just to get people to buy into it, you know, and that'll always be a process, but we're willing to do the work, you know.
All right. So I know you said that we could expect people like yourself, Darren, and Idris to perform, but who else can we expect at the show on Sunday?
On Sunday, we will be an addition to our show, because, you know, Darren and I would be the ones who coming up with the main performers for the show, but we always try to include someone who we believe, you know, we respect as a performer, someone who has been coming up in the game, whether it's a newcomer performer or someone who's a veteran in the game. And this year, we decided to include a veteran who is son of the soil when it comes to our Tobago performing arts community. And it's Cleon McPherson, who is a pastime National Poetry Slam competitor. He also placed at I forget the year that he placed, and he's a good friend of ours. He has been no stranger to the spoken word community, and he also has been making waves in the international community, whether it be regional or international. I don't even think in the country right now, because the man is definitely doing this thing. But he's going to be there, really making his mark on the performance stage in the Borderlines show, and it will be something to look forward to. We don't even know the quality, the kind of fire he coming with, because some of the pieces is surprises to us also. But we know the quality that Cleon McPherson is popular for, and be very excited to see what he's going to bring to the stage.
For real.
Is the thumbs up on these things to me from Dwayne?
Listen, these heavy rollers we laminate with, I don't know if you know.
Yeah, of course. Right now, we're talking to the bosses right now. You know. After this, we could help sign a few autographs. I'm kidding, right? But
hold on. I asked Mr. Sandy. I asked Mr. Sandy, what piece did he perform? I didn't get a chance to ask, what piece did you perform at the 2025 Poetry Slam?
Oh, I didn't enter the 2025 Poetry Slam. Actually, the last time I entered the Poetry Slam was 2020. And the last time I would have placed in the Poetry Slam was 2019. So, Darren, how much times you would have placed in the Poetry Slam, Darren?
I think about five or six times, I think.
Six times.
Only 1 point. Yeah.
Every rollers, boy. Every rollers.
I wish I had a color to pop for Darren. Just.
Talking hard work. When it's rehearsal time and preparation time, is be a lot of work going into doing one piece. for the National Poetry Slam. But the last time I performed at the Slam would have been 2019, right before COVID. So that I would have taken some time for myself and really try to develop this brand that we have as Borderlines to really make it something that is part of the spoken word ecosystem. At the Slam, there are things like Back on Leaf, other events that we, even in Tobago, the Tobago Writers Guild would have events that used to develop the spoken word sphere. And so Borderlines is just our humble contribution to try to make this spoken word art form something that has longevity. I hear you do have your ticket. We have tickets here waiting for you. Just make sure and get yours.
Yeah.
Look into the camera, Dwayne.
I will get mine.
Look into the camera.
And because it's Father's Day, I feel I'm bringing my old man.
So,
right.
Yeah.
I'm bringing no old man. I come in for myself. Anyways. So,
it's Father's Day, right?
Yes, I'm aware that it's for Father's Day. But I don't know if you were listening to Idris's advertisement, but he said it's a family thing. So I will be bringing family. Okay, if they see me as my father, they see my father. But most importantly, I'm going.
Okay.
Right, Dwayne? Okay. Right. So for the people like Dwayne, right, who wants to come so badly, but has not purchased their tickets like myself, where do they find tickets? How much for the tickets? And when is the deadline to purchase tickets?
Tickets are $200. You could get them at Barcode itself in Scarborough. Or you could call 481-1514 to get the information as well. And you could get them up to the day of the event. We really have no cap. If the event, if 1,000 people come, we are fitting everybody with 1,000 rag and 1,000. Right? And when patrons come, besides the free non-alcoholic drink, you get an entry courtesy Barcode. We have a lot of prizes to give away. So it's not just the poetry. You get an real thing. We have hampers from NFM. We have KFC vouchers. We have a package from Secret Sensations. But the big package people looking forward is the massage, spa, and treatment from Casey's Transformation Center. And Casey's Transformation and Healing Center, 2 massage packages. And that's a business actually in Tobago run by a young person. We always like to support the young people. We also have another Tobagonian, which is business Secret Sensations, which is a perfume line. So we are a real thing we giving away. We just go and give away thing when we reach. Besides the poetry, folks gonna be having again gifts for Father's Day one time. I don't know if non-fathers or the people outside of the men will get, but you know how I am. You know, I like to spread it to everybody. So you don't worry. The ladies might get some gifts as well, you know.
Dwayne trying his best to be so cool about this, but he's every time the camera is focused on you, Dwayne is here like, kicking his foot and ready to just fly out the chair.
She still don't show herself. That's exactly what she does. You know the Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth does speak. Guilty as charged. But
Dwayne, my advice to you is to just get your tickets and get ready for Borderlines.
I'm going to get my tickets.
You're going to get your tickets?
Yeah.
I'll spare the pancake house voucher for Dwayne, man. I'll spare something.
Give me something nice. But I think it would be remiss of me and all of viewership for us not to leave with something, man.
You're gonna
give it a line. Give it a line each, man.
You see, a free performance you're looking for. He ain't buy the ticket yet.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand.
I try to promote how good these men are. Them
we'll see how well they are when they come to Borderlines.
I understand.
I have you doing. I can do all things through him. Like some do get this. Bring Rex to the Lord. Let me make a checklist. I see in trials. All sorts of things that you witness. Beaten, bruised, banged and bloodied by trials. Fitness, man, like you can't take a challenge. I just laugh hard anytime the devil balance, cause I see God balance. Poetry, plays and performance on his pinky, that is performance. His love so sweet is like a Twinkie, not cake, but twice open in lock gates. We thought we couldn't get you. Even if you fall off mountains, God will catch you. Empire State equipped with elevators. Sit down by the throne and vibes with my maker, vibes with my king. His children can accomplish anything. We pressing up so much we and think we in a gym. But if you want a next line, come down on Sunday in Borderlines.
All right.
Darren, you see that? No, I can't live down the fact that Dwayne just saw a live performance and he's not going to stop mentioning it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Right? So, folks, you heard it here first at Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. Borderlines Father's Day Road Trip, Barcode, Scarborough, Tobago, on the 8th of June at 6 p.m. Tickets are only $200. Look forward to seeing artists Darren Sandy and Idris Salim. And they will be featuring Cleon McPherson. Dwayne is excited. I am excited. You all should be excited for this Father's Day special. For your tickets, visit carrytickets.com or Barcode here in Scarborough. Or you can call 481-1514. That's 481-1514. This is a spoken word poetry event. So Darren, Idris, looking forward to seeing you all on Sunday. Dwayne, get your tickets. I don't know.
But I get the point.
Between the both of us, I don't know who is going to get more giveaways, but we'll see.
You don't get nothing, you know.
Stay and feel so, you know, like a thief in the night, just saying. Right? So Darren, Idris, thank you so much for joining us here on Tobago Updates.
It's a pleasure.
Enjoy your day, viewers. Before we go, I just want to encourage you to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can't beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
Hair goals, we've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy for queens who know exactly what they want.
a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. This is Youth Wednesdays, and all good things must come to an end. However, we just have a quick banter about, just to stir your appetite a bit, about what happened last weekend surrounding the cartel, show. I don't know if you heard, Miss Nancy, but Carter was on no show after promising his viewership and his supporters, to come to Trinidad and perform, and after, coming out from jail for being in jail for a while, he was a no-show among other people. What are your thoughts?
I will refrain from sharing my thoughts on the situation. What I can share with you is the thoughts that came out on social media.
Yeah.
A lot of people were speaking about it. It was a very heavy topic on a lot of social media platforms for some time. A lot of people, well, even in discussion with certain people in the studio this morning, some people go with the fact that Cartel did stick to his contract. And then there are other conversations on social media stating that if Cartel is so for the fans, if Cartel is always about the culture that he's mentioned several times in his videos, he should have at least given something for the amount of money that was already paid, and that...
Well, allegedly paid.
Allegedly paid.
We do have the details and facts as to what was paid, but if all those things are true, it might be something that will be tossed up in court, and we wait to see what the rule of law says about contract and what contract law would say about that. But it was quite for
a lot of people it was quite disappointing.
Imagine showing up.
Yeah.
It was. It's pay $5,000. Some people pay $5,000.
And I think
to only see Cartel release.
Land in Trinidad and fly out.
No, he didn't. I heard he didn't land.
It was alleged that he landed and then left. He didn't come at all.
No, my sources indicated that he did not leave Miami at all.
I heard that somebody said at least that amount of money he should have go up on stage and
he did not even fly over Trinidad. And then Sizzler didn't make it after advertising that he was going to be there.
Right,
in Trinidad.
There was the collab that was supposed to happen with Molly as well. Shake it to the max. I wouldn't mention the comments that they had about the young lady, but
I saw a video of a very good friend of mine on social media, this Molly at Hyatt eating breakfast.
Right.
And dancing and so on, man. I guess the performance was there, but
she would have given a point of view on certain things as well. But we'll leave that alone. What I appreciate is the fact that she was at one of our historical sites, that is Hyatt Regency, and she was able to enjoy herself with one of our local TikTokers, right? So to all the artists that were supposed to be, or the ones that hope to be with us in the future, we wish you the best. Doing anything you have to say to those artists if they may be watching?
What I would say to the promoter of the Caribbean, what I want to say about that is that I guess I heard that he's refunding tickets now.
No,
I think so. I'm not sure.
I think allegedly I think there was a post sent out by Island E-Tickets. Under their policies, once you purchase through Island E-Tickets app, you'd be refunded that money. So I'm not sure what would happen to the patrons who would have bought tickets from the box offices, but for those who purchased on Island E-Tickets, I heard that they would be refunded their monies.
I guess you live and you learn, and I don't know if promoters have an insurance for their the events for in instances like these. Perhaps if not, it's something that they should consider in the future. But who knows? I guess once we have an attorney with us, we could have
that discussion
further
in
discussion,
length,
you know, but it is alleged.
Mhm.
So guys, this brings us to the end of Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates Morning Show. My name is Dwayne, and you are?
I am Natalia Nancis. Dwayne and I would thank you so much for joining us here on Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates once again. Up next, we have GMT, that's Good Morning Tobago with Miss Chanel Felix. So we ask you to stay tuned and share the live, share the live, share the live.
We'll be right back.
Today we had our area representative, Mr. Sonny Craig, reading to our students, the infant department in particular. We were elated to have him. The children were really excited to have someone from outside coming inside to read to them. So they paid attention, they listened attentively, and the rest is just history for them.
We are at the St. Patrick Anglican School, nestled on the hilltop right at the St. Patrick Anglican Church in Mount Pleasant. And I was invited here to read for the children and to see if I could spark that interest in them. We read today about a young man named Max and his grandmother and the experiences they had in the greenhouse in the garden. And I plan to come back to do another part to the reading when Max and his grandmother goes to join the youth club and to interact with other young people. Positive stuff, simple stuff. I learned something today I never knew before, that a squirrel's front teeth never stops growing. That's why they're always gnawing on something, always chewing on something. How did I get that? I read it. So the knowledge is power. And from
This is bedtime storytelling. Yes, it's still lit outside, but we have children in their pajamas, and they have the blankets, and we're having games. This to celebrate World Read Aloud Day.
This library is mind-blowingly staffed. It's very nurturing, and love them. So, that is for Read Aloud Day. I usually look forward to the annual pajamas read aloud, and the setting is lovely, and the local author and encouraging Miss Spencer to come and read aloud and talk about why reading is important is great. So I'm glad that they embraced it and they actually facilitated it.
My name is Felicia Spencer, and I am a teacher of 25 years. I'm the author of Finding My Baby Doll. The book was all about young lady who is entering standard 1, and she was very nervous about doing that, finding new friends, and how she got to overcome those difficulties in that standard 1 first day. My book is available online on Amazon, and you can pre-order from me. The number is 7373.
Library Services is all about bringing learning and fun and interaction and events our local. So we invite you to come to the library. We are open Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 6 p.m. and on Saturdays, 8:30 to 2 p.m. We can't wait to see you at our libraries.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Chanel Felix. And you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's interesting topics and conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds. Alleging serious irregularities in the TRHA's $17 million ambulance deal, THA Minority Leader Kelvon Morris is demanding a criminal investigation into what he describes as the Assembly's worst procurement scandal. He claims the situation represents an unprecedented betrayal of public trust in the THA's history. Morris said the cost ballooned from $5.5 million, with only 4 of 12 ambulances delivered, some faulty and not matching specifications. He also demanded the resignation of Health Secretary Dr. Faith Brebner for alleged oversight failures. Calls for probes by the Integrity Commission and Fraud Squad are mounting amid unanswered questions from the THA officials. Additionally, Acting Commissioner of Police Junior Benjamin has promised strict maintenance protocols for 67 new RAV4 vehicles acquired by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service at a cost of nearly $23 million. Speaking at a handover ceremony, Benjamin outlined plans for vehicle trafficking, regular servicing, and collaboration with the Finance Department to avoid past neglect. The new fleet, 52 marked and 15 unmarked vehicles, will boost police presence and emergency responses nationwide, including Tobago. Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander urged immediate deployment, stressing public's demand for visibility, effective law enforcement across the country. And finally, Opposition Leader Penelope Beckles-Robinson has urged the government to proceed with caution with the proposed Stand Your Ground laws. She warned that similar legislation in Florida resulted in a rise in homicide, especially among young adults. Speaking at her first press conference, Beckles-Robinson and other MPs called for public consultation and questioned the law's applicability in public spaces. The opposition also defended 2 previous initiatives from the PNM, the merit point system and virtual courts in police station, criticizing government's plan to scrap them without viable alternative, arguing both measures had improved public safety and efficiency. And that was our news in 90 seconds. Guys, this morning we continue our conversation and we are speaking about all that's happening as it pertains to teachers on the island. This morning I have in studio with me the Tutor Tobago officer, Braden Roberts. Good morning, Braden, and welcome.
Good morning, and good morning to the entire family.
All right. Now, this morning we are talking about a conversation that you have raised for a long time, but you seem to be beating this drum even harder now. Why is it that now more than ever this contract teacher situation is at a point where you feel like something has to be done and it has to be done now?
Right, and I really like how you phrase the question. It has to be done now because we are here more than 20 years now, because it's always somebody else will come to fix it. So we have made the cry about our schools not getting the necessary establishment so that they could be adequately staffed. The THA since 1997 thereabout temporarily hired persons on contract while they were supposed to work on the cabinet note to have the establishment regularized. And every election period we hear politicians coming up talking about it. And we have task force and audits and so on, and then we lapse and it goes to another grouping. I am adamant even more so now, as the 2 persons who should know outright about this are our Chief Secretary and the Secretary of Education. And it's appalling that we are getting the same thing. Task force and audit, and then we're not pleased with the audit and we do another audit, and we're not pleased with the task force and we have another grouping going and work on it again. My thing is, you see, if Tobago was putting forward a case and Trinidad was saying no, I would have understood that Tobago is trying to fix the problem. We have not submitted anything to Cabinet. We have not engaged in a meaningful way, concerted effort from persons from Trinidad to work on this thing. We have been moving around with bits and pieces of data that does not put forward anything tangible to the teachers. And if we have 2 former contract teachers in such powerful positions, I've never heard the Chief Secretary say anything meaningful about it. He has blamed tutor in the past for not working on it. It's very surprising that you're no longer in the fire, so you're comfortable. Seeing the secretary who was part of the team that took them to court. You're no longer in that boat, so you're seemingly comfortable. They met with the contract teachers in January and gave them some promise about another audit in April. I think it's time they face the teachers again, and let us hear what is happening.
After that meeting with the teachers that happened, do you know what was the promise of the Division of Education and the THA as it pertains to timelines that teachers can expect results?
Right, so first of all, coming in January, after this has been raised for so long, over the years, to promise a future timeline of an audit to be done in April, to me, is disrespectful. It shows lack of care and understanding.
Audit, what are they proposing that will happen after such an audit?
Right, so
what would that audit entail for the persons who, like myself, are unaware of how that process works?
Right, so let me break it down. The THA needs to make a case to Cabinet for the establishment of our schools to be increased. The Cabinet will indicate or dictate how many persons can be employed in particular schools, in each secondary school. So how many math teachers, how many English teachers throughout. The THA needs to regularize because we have built new schools. Some schools turn from 3-year schools to 5-year to 7-year schools. We need to ask the Cabinet for an increase in the establishment. You don't just ask for an increase, you have to justify a case. So that's why we have an audit. So they are auditing to see how many vacancies currently exist. First of all, how many positions exist. How many
that are currently being filled by contract teachers?
No.
Just the open vacancies?
Vacancies in terms of the establishment. So what Cabinet has assigned to the schools, if they are vacant posts. And how many posts are there? What they would have done in their last research, I think they found vacancies for 53 of the contract teachers. So before they were not aware based on the information I received, and they would have found vacancies as the established posts assigned to the school. There were at least 53 of them that they found already, and they sent recommendation for the contract teachers to be regularized. However, it is not enough for the 160 or somewhere there about contract teachers. So you need to ask Cabinet. So you're getting data, doing all data, trying to get the data collection. But what we are very good at in Trinidad and Tobago is collecting data. And we collect data. And we have been collecting data for more than 10 years.
Right. And inform the public, why has this contract teaching situation been such a heavy issue on the heart of tutor and the teachers? What are, some of the repercussions of teachers being on contract as opposed to teachers being, permanent?
Right, so I'm grateful for that question. There are 3 groupings of persons who are suffering because of this. THA is one, the education system, and the individual teachers. The THA is currently owing gratuity over $10 million as it is now. The THA do not have direct allocations for the contract teachers and the gratuity. So they mix and match and they reallocate and they see where they could pull funds from to pay gratuity. And we are outside 10 million plus. So these are teachers, their salary is not going to be increased. They don't get increments because they are fixed contract. They would like, as they should receive their gratuity at the ending of their 3-year period or whatever length the contract is. They are not able to get that because the THA is not able to find funds to pay it. So as far as I am aware, there is over 10 million plus to be paid. The THA would get direct allocation if these persons are listed on the establishment and are placed in service. So when the central government sends their funding, they will be catered for directly within that. So that's the THA. The education system suffers because these teachers who are gaining 15, 20 years experience could never act in or perform a head of department role, a dean, vice principal, principal. There's no upward mobility. So all the experience these persons are gaining, the most they can do is help those who are in service in performing their duties because they having the experience. A new teacher, they may ask some of the same contract teachers to assist them. That's the best they can offer. As it is now, our education system does not benefit from the experiences of these contract teachers, and it's disheartening to be in such a position 10, 15 years and a junior person comes to be your head of department.
Can you explain how that happens?
Right, so persons who are in service can move
Meaning
up.
they are a part of the public service.
Teaching Service Commission.
The teaching
service. So those who are in service can vie for a head of department position.
But wouldn't they have been in the teaching service for a particular amount of years for them to move up to that head of department position?
Right, so it's based on who you're competing with.
They may have years of service, but they may not have the requisite qualification per se. Like, let's say they may not have a master's degree, but they may have been in the service for about 15 years. So who do you deem to be more senior in that situation?
So the context is who you're competing with. So if you are 5 years in the service, but you are teaching with persons who are on contract, or you are teaching, you are senior there. So persons who are on contract 10, 15 years are not senior to anybody in any of our schools. There is no seniority there. The only seniority comes from persons who are in the service. So the persons who are likely to get these management positions are likely to be persons who are less years experience than those who are on contract. So our education system is not benefiting from our contract teachers more than their function as laborers, as teachers. They are at that level consistently, no upward mobility. And that brings me to the teacher. Now, to be in such a position where you are seeing where there is the opportunity for upward mobility, but that excludes you, is demoralizing. And it's demoralizing because it's the lack of that political will to address the matter. These contract teachers with their 3-year contracts, when they go to any agency, financial agency, they are limited in what they can get. So the ambitions of teachers to have a comfortable home, they do not have the requisite affordability into the finances to treat with some of their long-term goals that everybody has. So we need to treat with all those 3 areas: the individual teacher, the education system, and the THA getting the funds. So those are the 3 main categories that is suffering with the lack of political will to deal with this particular matter.
Understood. And, for you said that there isn't a political will to do so, but what do you deem to be one of the biggest hindrances in this situation that being rectified over the years?
Right, so I believe we have persons who are seeking to get the best thesis. We want to make the perfect case. So we are researching until time runs out and there's a change. I believe it's a lack of concerted effort. That's the only issue. I do not believe we need further audits. Every secondary school each year submits a school development plan, which would outline all their programs and the teachers allocated to those programs. There is enough data in that school development plan to do a needs analysis. If majority of the teachers, like Speyside, they have 20 plus teachers on contract. Scarborough Secondary School has close to 20 teachers on contract. Is that we don't need those teachers or we need them? If we need them, we make a case for the establishment to be increased. So all this extra audit and asking Trinidad to help us do audits. Trinidad has never given anything to Tobago unless they are significantly benefiting from it. So we as Tobagonians have to fight for what we want. We have to fight for our case. We have to build our case. And kicking the can down the road, hiding behind task force and audit does not help.
Right. But do you think that with this new central government in place, that there should be some improvement when that note goes before the cabinet to ensure that this is done for teachers? Are you optimistic about that?
I am optimistic once the THA puts forward a document Let us fight. We could fight that afterwards. But to not ask and see what challenges exist does not help the cause. Put forward a case and let us fight it there. So it doesn't matter who in central government and whether there's an improved relationship or not. What I am working on is getting the first step out the door.
Right. And we know that you have been very vocal as it pertains to the school repair program. We are in June. Do you have, greater confidence that this time around that things can be done better once it starts on time?
Oh yes, I have confidence in that. We have been liaising with the division, and although you may see me out here, we have a collaborative relationship as best as it can be with the division. We have submitted our concerns regarding the schools. We sent out and gathered our information. I know the division would ask the principals to submit as well. I am optimistic because you can't have 2 years of challenges and seeing those challenges and don't take time to fix them as we roll out the next this program. So I am optimistic that there is going to be that change. There may be the challenge of funding, but that's not something that we would want to hear at all. They need to make their case to whether whichever area in TTHA to get the funding or central government to get the funding to deal with the issues. Because what happens is some of the teachers who are already demoralized with all the other issues would at least want to work in a safe environment, would at least want to sit in a space where there's no concern of mold, where it's broken tables and chairs, where the lighting is poor. They at least would want an environment that is conducive for teaching and learning. So with the collaborative relationship that we have, I am optimistic, cautiously so, but I'm optimistic that we're going to have a better repair program this time.
Understood. Well, we're going to take a quick break right here and we'll be back right after this as we continue our conversation. See you soon, guys.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new Abington Road. We beat it road. Ole, Abington Road. We beat it road. Spirited Abington Road. Spirited Abington Road. What to do? Let us see how stick you could get. See how stick you could get. Let us see how stick you could. See how stick you could. See how stick you could get. Let us see how stick you could get. See how stick you could get. Let us see how stick you could. See how stick you could. See how stick you could get. Wet me down, 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 wet me down. Right now I'm overeating. Wet me down, 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 wet me down. Right now I'm over.
Do you think you know Premier League or Champions League football? What about international cricket or the IPL and CPL? How about NBA basketball? Well, now you can put your skills to work to earn some extra cash by betting on the games with TT Bet Arena. Simply go to our website, choose a sport you want to bet on, find the games and place your bets. And with your computer or mobile device, you can bet from anywhere. Just go to ttbetarena.com, sign up for a free account, make a deposit, and start betting. It's that simple. You can even qualify for our $2,000 sign-up bonus. We also have horse racing, plus live casino games where you can bet using TT dollars. And check our new Tobago location at 7B Milford Road, Crown Point. For more info, call or WhatsApp 494-0634. TT Bet Arena, the #1 sports betting company in Trinidad and Tobago.
Tobago, this is your chance to lock in the brunch experience of the summer. Sun up.
Real bad girl, get nasty.
The brunch inclusive edition, the ultimate party in the East, where vibrant flavors, refreshing cocktails, and electrifying vibes collide. It's happening on Saturday, July 5th from 3 p.m. at Deltec Compound, Argyle. Bring your coolers, bring your crew, and brunch, sip, and vibe in style. This is the flavorful escape you've been waiting for. Grab your tickets now at Barcode, Harblow Supermarket, Lost Restaurant and Lounge, Deltec Compound, and committee members. Sun up! It's more than a brunch, it's an experience.
Hair goals, we've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy for queens who know exactly what they want.
With Flow Business's new smart solutions, powered by super fast, reliable broadband, you'll feel like there are more versions of you working for you. From website design, development, and digital marketing to promote your business, 24/7 business class support to cloud solutions, security, and more. Multiply your growth today.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host Chanel Felix. This morning we have been speaking with the tutor officer for Tobago, Braden Roberts, and we have been talking this morning about the issue of regularizing contract teachers. Another issue that has pervaded the teaching system in Tobago has to do with the classification of leave and that having to go to Trinidad to be approved and then coming back to Tobago. I remember that there were some efforts on the behalf of the Division of Education, Research and Technology to have that moved from Trinidad and be placed at the division and the responsibility be given to the administrator there to sign off on that to reduce the backlog. Tell us a bit about that. But before that, for the persons looking on that don't understand what you mean by the classification of leave, explain that for them at a base level and then, explain why that's so important for that to be done in Tobago.
Okay, so the leave, each teacher is granted 14 days sick leave. Mm-hmm. If you go beyond 14 days sick leave for whatever reason, maybe a surgery, some chronic illness, whatever would have caused you to go over 14 days sick leave, those days would have to go to Trinidad to be classified as leave with pay, leave with half pay, leave with no pay accordingly. That function has not been adequately treated with at the ministry. So we have persons in the 1990s, 2005, who have leave for those days yet to be classified. We have some of those persons are retirees who are unable to get the requisite pension and the pension at the correct point because their days unaccounted for. Before me, the former Tobago officer, Mr. Kerr, I know would have been back and forth between Tobago and Trinidad trying to assist in this particular matter. And coming as Tobago officer myself, working with the division, we were able to lobby with the CPO, the minister, I know the Secretary of Education. Currently, Secretary of Education spoke with the former Minister of Education to help work that through. We had the Chief Ad writing to the ministry, so it's a collaborative effort where all of us work towards coming to an agreement in the THE, the Chief Ad level, not the division, at the Chief Ad level, being authorized to classify leave. Well, the chief could also have the division work on that aspect as well, but the classification was to be authorized to the chief ad to deal with. That was last year. And we have been at the CPO office still asking when we're going to get our documents from the ministry. The ministry has been holding on to our documents. I'm not certain in what state they are in, which box they may be in, because they're not helping in dealing with any of our leave at the moment. So we have been in limbo. We have the pensioner leave department been asking tutor as well, when we're going to get these documents.
Right, and have you written to this new government as it pertains to this issue, outlining how pressing it is for it to be dealt with immediacy?
Right, so I know the national body would have reached out to the minister to have the first tutor minister meeting. That meeting has not yet come off. However, we have been liaising frequently with the CPU, as he would have been the one overseeing this operation. The CPU would have issued to the ministry, to the permanent secretary, April month-end deadline, as he was surprised that that was not treated with already, and we are now in June. We are hearing nothing. We go to the ministry meetings, and there are all sorts of frivolous reasons as to why we have not got any documents yet. Who was supposed to send it? At one point in time, we were told that they were already in Tobago, and when we did checks here, that was not even the truth. But it's nothing new where the ministry is concerned. I do not believe that they take Tobago matters seriously. Tied to that is the pension and leave records for persons who studied at the Valsian Teachers College how many years ago. The THE been asking for those records, and the ministry takes very long in responding, even to submit those documents as needed. So our persons in Tobago are suffering due to the inaction of the ministry. So we fought to get the authority in Tobago. There is no authorized document just yet, more than verbal agreements. So we are waiting, and I've been asking what is really holding this up. So I'm not certain if the secretary spoke to the new ministers yet, but I know she had given that effort with the previous minister. So that is one of the significant issues. And without your leave being classified, you are not able to get any increments. There is no upward movement in terms of your salary because they are unaccounted for days. So we have persons who are stuck 10, 15 years because of the inaction of the ministry in classifying the leave that was sent to them.
Yeah, and from your perspective and from the tutor perspective, with all the advocacy that has been done thus far, where do we go from here? What is to be done next? Because as you said, you have written in the past, you have advocated for it, but it seems that Tobago matters are simply not being taken seriously. But now we have a new administration at the central government level. So where do we go from here? You know, post this meeting that Tutor has requested with the new administration, what type of steps are you expecting to happen, or what would you like to see come out of that?
Actually, I would want the leaders in Tobago to have the guts, the bravery, that fortitude to demand the things that we need to get here. Casually asking for stuff. So I am the way I am in terms of my advocacy in tutor, because I understand that you don't go to these places and ask nicely and get anything. You would hope that in cordial relations you're going to get what you need to get, but that's not what we get in terms of historically in Tobago. Tobago persons are strong because we were made to be strong with all the fighting that we have to get for simple things. So I don't want us to be smiling with our new administration and, you know, there is a promise of greater collaboration. I'm happy about that there is a promise of greater collaboration. But we are not to sit back hoping that the great collaboration would indeed come. I would like the secretary, as we are fighting with the CPO and so on the particular matter, the secretary to keep with the new minister. The chief secretary to show some care for education. I don't hear this chief secretary talking about anything at all where education is concerned. And I mean, you have that strength. So I would like us as Tobagonians to stand up. We are talking about autonomy. Are we ready for it? Do we have the attitude for it? I mean, we have to show that we are strong and independent in mind and in thought to stand up and claim what we believe should be ours. So those leave issues and asking Trinidad to regularize our schools in Tobago, we need to have a collaborative, strong fight for our Tobagonians. Trinidad will not hand us anything.
Right. And even if we look directly or on an individual level at some of the schools in Tobago, recently, you know, we would have seen an upsurge in the number of fights in school. Now, this is something that we see happening every year, but it's prominent now because, you know, the students have their phones, they take it out and everything goes viral. But we have instances now where parents are becoming so frustrated that they are now, you know, intervening and becoming a part of these school fights. What is tutor doing, or what is the way forward as it pertains to dealing with this?
Right, and I like that you included the last part of the parents getting frustrated. And I see, like with every other thing, we want to deal with that part of it. So we frustrate people to a level where they react, and then we condemn the reaction that they would have given. I do not support parents taking matters into their own hands. But when you have your child being bullied, day in, day out, you're complaining to the school. That child may be suspended a week, 2 weeks, they come back. They bullying your child, and there are different persons taking turns. There's so much a parent could take, because as a child, you look into your parent for protection. You're looking to teachers for protection. What do we give teachers in terms of dealing with this matter? Nothing. So any form of discipline, it has to be positive discipline, or else it's abuse. Because you cannot beat, you cannot speak too sternly to a child, as that's verbal abuse as well. Emotional abuse, you have all these psychologists coming up with all sorts of terms now to protect the children. So yes, the children need protection, but they are using it as a weapon. So they know that we can't do them much. Police officers, back then you would see police officers handling children and so on. They don't do that anymore. There's a 2016 judge's rule where they have highlighted all the things that police officers cannot do to children. So we have empowered children to do as they please. And there are no programs, especially in primary school, because primary school children and parents are acting up as well. There's no program for those persons. I would have heard that the division is working towards addressing that in some classroom activities that they want to create. However, in the interim, we need all hands on deck. And that's what Tutor have been asking for. Parents, so the NPTA, the Tobago arm of the PTA, the police service, the division, teachers, we all have to come together collaboratively. So the forum needs to be set by the division as they have that authority where education is concerned. I've made this split to the division as well. Bring us to the table. Let's see how all hands could work towards addressing this. Because we are fighting an uphill battle. We have the social media that is influencing these children to do all sorts of negative things for attention. So we have the block your face and wine song, everybody. Those things are trending so much that the children are not interested in schoolwork, you know. They do things for attention. So those children who are not doing well, when they fight, they get attention. They're in videos. It's sending all over the place. Who is Batman and this, so they get that kind of love in a negative way. So we need to see how, even with social media, how the media plays a role, because we put a lot of negative out there. And we say it's human rights, you know, everybody have a right to listen to what they want to listen to and watch what they want to watch. But that is careless. That is careless in a society who is seeking to groom people to be fitting citizens. So we have limited what teachers can do. We limit them also in resources. So even if teachers want to be positive in their outreach to children, if they don't dip in their pocket, it's not possible. So we need all hands on deck, because the business sector in Tobago, and I believe the division is also crippled by funds. I don't think it's a lack of want, but any initiative you bring would have a financial cost. And we will need the business sector on board. So that's why I have asked, let everybody come to the table. That's a call that the division needs to make as the body authorized to deal with education in Tobago.
Right. And even as it pertains to those individual schools, there, you know, for a while, Roxborough Secondary School has been under a lot of scrutiny, Mason Hall High School. You know, as the tutor representative, how has these schools been progressing?
The disadvantage is that the children who are sent to these schools, most of them are under 30% performers. There is no set program given to Mason Hall that is different to Scarborough Sec or Bishops. Or we are sending a cohort of children who have not done well in primary school. So one secondary school, for example, Mason Hall, and they are teaching the regular maths, English, social studies, all those things.
In the same way.
In the same way. Now, if they are to change the way in which they teach, you will need the resources to support that. So programs need to be established to support that, where parents see where they fit in. Because some parents give up already. They believe that they didn't have an education, so they cannot contribute. They can contribute, and if we have programs and show them where they can contribute, we will get their support. But we have a separation where school is doing school stuff, and the parents just drop their children to school. Some of them will walk to school or catch car. So there's no interaction outside of the child coming to school. So that's my concern. What I have advocated with the teachers, try your best with what you have. So even if the division is not working towards having these programs, the principal administrative staff, see how best you can develop your program and engage the alumni, past students and so on, to see how they can support. But it will be difficult if we do not get the support of the division as the lead. And I'm not putting everything on the division, but they are the authorized body. We don't want schools taking up initiatives that would break some regulations. They need to pass through the division as well. So if the division takes front in leading such initiatives, at least give the schools a pathway to tread, they would be able to do their part. And Roxborough Secondary as well, it's also the resources at the schools. They always have lighting issues. The school, even to go to the school to watch the building, is not even encouraging. So there are issues with the individual schools, but we ask our teachers, as best as you can, alter your program to assist the children that you have. Because the children that we fail will come back to bite us.
What do you say to the teachers who say, as soon as I walk into that school compound, I just feel so demotivated. I want to help the children, I have that passion to see lives change, but the environment, it's just, it's so heavy that as soon as you step on the compound, you just can't wait to leave. What do you say to those teachers?
Right, so that is not an option. That's not an option at all. If I am to function on feelings, because a lot of teachers complain to me, and after they finish venting, they almost take my soul. But I have to do my job. I cannot say I ain't feel like it, I'm trying with the division and I'm not getting through. And no, I have to keep fighting. So our teachers, I understand. You may not be getting the encouragement and the motivation that you need. You may not be getting the funds that the division owing you, and you're complaining to tutor, you're not getting the quick results. However, you have a calling to treat with these children that are in front of you the best way you can. Let tutor fight all the other things. So the school not encouraging, let us fight that. So we have been submitting those things at the division, we have been fighting at the division. Even if you're dissatisfied with the outcome thus far, you cannot drop the ball in terms of treating with the nation's children. As I said before, we fail them and we will pay dearly for it.
All right. Well, we're going to take a final break right here, and we'll be back as we wrap up. So see you soon.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Quartz is well known as the Caribbean's largest retailer, providing consumers for generations with the very best products to enhance their homes. This year, we bring our expertise to businesses. Quartz Business Solutions will serve small, medium, and large companies with the very best products at the most competitive prices, backed by warranties and after-sales support. Hoteliers, office managers, restaurants, and so many more. Quartz Business Solutions, a brand of the Unicomer Group.
Do you think you know Premier League or Champions League football? What about international cricket or the IPL and CPL? How about NBA basketball? Well, now you can put your skills to work to earn some extra cash by betting on the games with TT Bet Arena. Simply go to our website, choose a sport you want to bet on, find the games and place your bets. And with your computer or mobile device, you can bet from anywhere. Just go to ttbetarena.com, sign up for a free account, make a deposit, and start betting. It's that simple. You can even qualify for our $2,000 sign-up bonus. We also have horse racing, plus live casino games where you can bet using TT dollars. And check our new Tobago location at 7B Milford Road, Crown Point. For more info, call or WhatsApp 494-0634. TT Bet Arena, the #1 sports betting company in Trinidad and Tobago.
Tobago, this is your chance to lock in the brunch experience of the summer. Sun up.
Real bad girl, get nasty.
The brunch includes exclusive edition, the ultimate party in the East, where vibrant flavors, refreshing cocktails, and electrifying vibes collide. It's happening on Saturday, July 5th from 3 p.m. at Deltec Compound, Argyle. Bring your coolers, bring your crew, and brunch, sip, and vibe in style. This is the flavorful escape you've been waiting for. Grab your tickets now at Barcode, Harblow Supermarket, Lost Restaurant and Lounge, Deltec Compound, and committee members. Sada, it's more than a brunch, it's an experience.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with AMPLIA's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 GB fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
Hair goals, we've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy for queens who know exactly what they want.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I'm your host Chanel Felix, and this morning we have been chatting with the tutor representative for Tobago, Mr. Braden Roberts, and we have touched on a number of topics as it pertains to regularizing teachers and working with them to give them a better environment to work in, and not just financial compensation by ensuring that they're no longer on contract, but ensuring that the environment that teachers have to work in on a daily basis is a healthy environment. We know that your environment plays a huge, role on your mood and how you feel. You go into a place and certain colors, and if the walls aren't painted, if it's dirty, it contributes to a negative mood. So even as it pertains to teachers being able to do what they can with the little that they have, as you have encouraged them to do. There's only so much they can do. But what are you advising them to do to make the situation a bit bearable in the short term while the Tobago House of Assembly finds the resources to allocate to improve the situation?
Right. So the best use of scarce resources is in collaboration. We have individual classrooms and teachers who could function in their individual capacity. However, in times like these, we need to ensure that we are collaborating, we are working and sharing best practices with each other. You bring the complaints to tutor, and tutor will do that advocacy. So I would not want teachers harboring the stressful thoughts. Yes, you're in the environment. Yes, you are in that space of not getting the things that you need. But once these are submitted to tutor, we'll try our best to advocate. What we want teachers to mainly focus on is that collaborative effort in uplifting the school. I know that there are several schools who have little initiatives. They invite other things. They invite persons to come to their school. They have fair activities where they portray some of the different professions. They encourage persons to focus on these particular professions. Even at the primary school, I saw some of the schools like Mason Hall Primary having a day for the International Day of the Boy, where they had several activities. Those are the things that we would want schools to work on, try to create the experience for our children as best as is. It would be frustrating. It is frustrating for me as the Tobago officer, always coming out of the same issue over and over and not getting that move from the division. So with the division looking at all these things as well, I would want them to not take the teachers for granted. Let us not believe, schools functioning, so it's not bad. It is bad, but teachers are giving their best. help the teachers along because we do not want our teachers to fall down. We have a concern with the number of teachers after leaving the service in ill health and they're not lasting long. You know, our death benefit has been paying out so much to those teachers who have fallen and that the family of those teachers who have fallen. So we need to care for the teachers and not believe that because school open, everything is good. So the division, we are calling on you as well. Hold up your end of the bargain while we call on the teachers to give the best that they can.
All right. Well, we want to thank you so much for being here this morning and for all the work that Tutor has been doing and continues to do as it pertains to working in collaboration with the Tobago House of Assembly and the Division of Education to ensure that all those matters pertaining to the well-being of our teachers and our children are being dealt with. So thank you for that.
And it's my pleasure to be here as well.
Well, thank you. Well, guys, we want to thank you for being with us this morning. But before you go, we want to say a happy birthday to the man behind the Tobago Updates brand. We want to say happy birthday to the boss man, William Nana. A special good morning to you. And again, happy birthday. I don't know what we're going to do today, but we're going to do something. I hope to see you soon. So happy birthday. We're saying happy birthday from the entire Tobago Updates team. The man that works hard. The man that, as he says, he takes the licks for us all. We want to say thank you to you. We want to wish you God's richest blessings, all the health, all the strength, and we pray that all good things will come to you and that you receive all your heart's desires. So again, guys, we want to thank you so much for being a part of this morning's discussions. Thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster right here on the island of Tobago. Again, I am Chanel Felix, and have a great day.